morning. It's my privilege to talk to you about drug gene testing. And I guess the first question would be, what is drug gene testing? All of us as we sit here have DNA in all of our cells, and that DNA that we have encodes the enzymes that we produce in our bodies. These enzymes are important because every drug that we take are metabolized by enzymes. So depending on how the enzymes function, the metabolism of your drugs will vary. So if you're a good metabolizer for a certain drug, then you will get good results, and if you're a poor metabolizer, you are prone to get poor results. The whole idea of testing our genes to find out how we metabolize drugs is something that has developed over the last decade or two. But at the moment, it's at the forefront of medicine, and it's become a very highly hot topic, and we have embraced it at MediHelp for a couple of reasons. And just to explain to you briefly how that test is done, it's not an invasive test. It's actually very easy. It looks like a Q-tip that you use in your earbud, and you swab the inside of your cheek. It's a test that can be done at home, and that is sent off to a laboratory that does a lot of sophisticated analysis on it. And at the end, we have the genes that encode the enzymes that process all your drugs. You get one half from your father and one half from your mother, and that makes your metabolism a bit unique. A lot of people fall into the same kind of category, but in the end, we all have our differences. And if you think about how drugs have been developed in the past, they would develop a drug and then use a big group of people and give them various doses and see which doses work really well. And that's in the end how you end up with a Panado or a paracetamol at 500 milligrams 6 hourly, or whatever the dose is. But the group that they tested always remains a small group, relatively speaking, to the whole population. And on these drug inserts, on the pamphlet, if you look carefully, you will see that there is a place where it actually says which of the enzymes metabolize this specific drug. And here's the problem. If you have a combination in your enzymes, the coding of your DNA, that has you produce a lot of a certain enzyme, or you produce very little of an enzyme, you could technically fall in a number of categories. One is you can be a poor metabolizer, the one is you can be a rapid metabolizer, or you can be a normal metabolizer. And let me explain what happens if you're in one of those three categories. If you are a poor metabolizer, it means that if you drink a drug, if you're taking a tablet, and your body metabolism on that drug is very slow, then you actually accumulate the dosage. So by the time you take the next one, the previous one has not been completely metabolized. And that slowly over time leads to an increase of the drug in your bloodstream, and you can actually either overdose or develop side effects. You can see why this is a big problem for chronic medicine users more than acute medicine users. If you are a rapid metabolizer, it means that if you're taking a drug, within 10 or 15 minutes or an hour, that drug is completely gone, completely metabolized. And for the next 5 or 6 hours, you actually sit without treatment until you take the next one. Again, you can see why that would have a severe effect on treating chronic disease. If you're a normal metabolizer, then things work the way they normally should. So what our idea is, and what we're currently doing, is to identify members that are chronic disease members, that are on chronic medication, and that we see are struggling to maintain the status quo in terms of good treatment for them and outcomes for their chronic disease. When we test their genes and we find that they are poor or rapid metabolizers, we can engage and give the information through to their doctors, who can then adapt their treatment. And what we've seen in the studies worldwide is that this can have a major impact on the outcomes of chronic medication. It can prevent side effects, it can optimize treatment, and it can lead to the desired results. We are actually including two groups of people in 2024 in terms of drug gene testing. The one is this high risk and chronic member group, where we identify members that we can see where this can be of great benefit to them. And then we've built it in as a benefit into the MedSaver option, which means if you're a member on MedSaver, you can make use of this testing whether you're a chronic medication user or not. That's up to the member to decide. It will be funded from savings. So the drug results, the interaction with the genes, that is made available to your doctors, your treating doctors. We also give them a list of the chronic medication that you're on and what your drugs tell them, how they should be used and optimized for your specific needs. And in the end, it will optimize your outcomes as our member. So we see the future of MediHealth as DNA-based, and we see the future of our members' treatment as DNA-based. Because DNA is uniquely you, and healthcare and our benefits is in the process of becoming really up close and personal. Thank you.